All right. 3, 2. Welcome, everyone, to the Break Knyte podcast, where we talk about being creative and all the things that inspire us to be creative. This has been an amazing weekend with San Diego Comic Con passing, so there's a lot of pop culture and niche things for us to talk about.
Dig!
I am your host, Craven Knyte, professional wrestler and maker of so many different types of things. And with me, as per usual, is the man. Tell these people who you are.
I am the Lord of Darkness. I am the Maker of Rains. I am smelling like a rose that somebody gave me. Anyway, sorry. I am Sean Iredale, one of your hosts for this good old Break Knyte podcast ordeal. And like my cohort just told all of you, that today is a day where we can finally follow up on all the chaos that has happened over the week, this last week with San Diego Comic Con and all the debuts and trailers and toys and joys that we get to share amongst each other with everything that was announced. Also, if you hear crunching in the background, it is our friend Craven feasting on some Craven Knyte Oreo Thins.
Yep, has my name on the package and everything.
Yep,
all y'all.
You can't understand a word he says because he has a mouth filled with Oreo Thins.
Yes, I
They're
do.
thin, so that means you got to eat 4 at a time.
Yeah.
So, as per usual, I would love to start off our typical episode with the creative aspects of the things that we love to do the most, which is create. And, illustrate, draw, create, fucking whatever we can stay relevant.
Just keep creating, stay creative, in the creative realm.
So, if you may notice, what we like to do around here is we like to get into certain phases. And trust me, it isn't, because we're doing it on purpose. This shit literally hits us out of the blue. And one of the most recent out-of-the-blue hits has been editing and customizing figures all over again. So that being said, Craven, you decided to delve back into the neighborhood after I myself decided to dive back into the neighborhood. And what'd you come up with?
Well, like you were saying, we get into these phases. Ours just kind of hit at the same time. I think you phasing into the figure customization has kind of inspired me to kind of jump into it with some ideas kind of hitting my head of figures that I would want that don't exist. And for me, as a big Metal Gear Solid fan, as it is known by so many or so few.
Known by so many now, yeah. Isn't that right? Dozens of listeners.
So, yeah, I love Metal Gear Solid, and I knew after you and I were searching, for some figures and stuff, and I was thinking back to when an image surfaced of Chris Evans, Steve Rogers, Captain America for Civil War with his beard and hair and all that, and how there was some fan art recreating that image into what looked like a Solid Snake or a Naked Snake from Metal Gear Solid or Metal Gear Solid 3. And that hit me to where the likeness action figure that came out, the Marvel Legend of the Captain America for Infinity War, doesn't necessarily represent Captain America for that specific movie, but I thought the likeness would have been perfect for me to alter and make into a snake figure of some sort. So originally, I was going to make a Solid Snake, but I thought about it. I already have a little tiny Solid Snake. I can work my way up to that eventually. But I really thought it'd be cool to kind of make a Mezco-inspired just action figure of Naked Snake from Metal Gear Solid 3. So making actual clothes and taking some, Frankensteining some pieces together and sculpting some pieces. And if you follow me on Instagram, you've seen some of the pictures. But I think it came out really good. It was a Mark II suit for the figure. Me using some spandex, so I didn't limit any of the articulation. And I have to say, I really went all out with this, being my first actual...
You sure did. Yeah, holy shit.
Being my first custom action figure in such a long time with making the actual clothing. I took the boots from the Marvel TV series, Marvel Legend Punisher figure, because he has the more ideal tactical boots that I thought would work for this Snake action figure. but also with making the suit out of actual clothing and excuse me, using my vinyl cutter to make the shapes for Velcro to scale of an action figure that size, and then printing them on top of each other. It came out to look like decent camouflage for a 6-inch man. And then giving the action figure head a little bit of a haircut and sculpting some hair on it. My second attempt is when it came out really good, and just kind of trimming the beard a little bit and touching it up, giving it a little bit of a wash and some dark colors to give it a little bit of the effect of the actual artwork from the game. And using some very thin wire to represent the wires for the earpiece that he wears, and using some centimeter wide elastic bands that I found at a Hobby Lobby that was by the ribbons and stuff. I was able to use to be the straps that go over his shoulders to like the crotch area, kind of like what you have.
It's almost like a flight suit.
Yeah,
almost. Yeah,
exactly, because the parachute that he wears before he starts the mission, and trying to even make buckles using just little tiny like rings I was able to find, shaping them and trying to make the buckles, which didn't really turn out to be all that important, but it was really important to me to kind of add those little touches in there.
Sure.
And keeping the belt from that Captain America figure kind of worked, just had to paint it a little bit. And because of a Revoltech Venom snake that I had that completely fell apart, I was able to kind of reuse some belt pieces that he had. So the backpack and the water bottle parts that came with the belt that he had was perfect for this figure. So if I were to attempt another one of these figures, I would really need to either kind of make a mold of those or get another Revoltech on a deal of some sort.
Sure.
But and then I even stitched a little holster using some actual leather. I stitched a little holster for his pistol that he has, but the pistol I took from the Punisher figure. And rearranged some of the hands, painted the arms and stuff, rolled up the sleeves, even glued some of the material onto the figure. Not losing any articulation with that, but it came out just really good. And the cherry on top to this was, for me, because I felt like the most important thing to this would be the bandana, and it was the one thing I did not have laying around, which was a freaking...
This was such a nightmare for you.
It was. It drove me nuts. I had to buy a pack of bread specifically so I can get one, because I could not find packs of these things. Was a freaking twist tie. I needed a twist tie to do what we did with your Deathstroke that you have, because you have like a perfect twist tie that is perfect for your Deathstroke. Actually, it's 2 twist ties we use, so we have 2 different colors on there. But for this one, I just needed a simple twist tie that had a certain width to it that would work out. And the one that I got for the bread pack that I typically buy was perfect for it. So able to put it on, I can move it and all that stuff, and it just looks great. And I added the eye patch to it and colored the hair and did just a bunch of reworkings with it, and it came out really good. And this is just the beginning stage of my mission to make all the different types of snakes from the different games.
Wow, you didn't say that before.
No, I want to make Solid Snake. I want to make Solid Snake from Metal Gear Solid 2. I want to make a Liquid Snake. I definitely want to make a Cyborg Ninja, as I've gotten some inspiration from Jin Satome from his website with some of his customs, as he's used a Marvel Legends.
Shout out to him, by the way.
For sure.
Shit.
He's given me tips and tricks and inspiration just from his website, and he's a great customizer. But pretty much just like a Marvel Legends Iron Man that's pretty much just a Cyborg Ninja Gray Fox, just disguised as Iron Man. Because
which is sweet, because the edits just have to be minor then, right?
Yeah, very minor additions and some altering, and then just a decent paint job. And it's a mission that I'm more than happy to kind of go on.
I'm more than happy to take under my wing.
Yes. Right. And really the only thing is trying to get the sword right and trying to get a sword for that, which I have some ideas. I have a couple of Deadpools. Like, in my mission with this whole Marvel Legends journey, I bought a shitload of Marvel Legends. And not specifically to collect any Marvel Legends, because I'm not really big into a lot of Marvel characters in that way. Some of them are cool aesthetically, but if I get them, I put them on my shelf, I'm more than likely I'm going to customize them and fix them up. That's usually how I do with a lot of figures that I buy.
Good old fodder.
Yeah, if I get them and they're just retail figures versus like really high-end figures like at SH Figure Arts, if it's above $25, there's a good chance I'm not going to do anything to it.
Yeah, sure.
But But I'm very excited to kind of do some things with some of the Marvel Legends that I have. I have 4 more of those Captain Americas to do some more snakes.
That's right. All the snakes.
All the snakes, and do the ninja and make little diorama pieces. I had an idea with using the gaming cases as like a backdrop, as like a poster lingering in the back.
Yeah,
and
I love that idea.
Having that stand up behind certain figures, and since there's so many different game cases, I have so many different games.
Or you could just make the diorama.
I could make the diorama, I love the idea of the game cases themselves. Yeah,
an homage to the case.
Being a cool little thing. But yeah, that's been my mission. I'm gonna have a lot of fun with that. Wrestling gears, the typical stuff. Like, you follow my Instagram, you see what I've been posting. But at this point, pretty much work and not much to say that hasn't already been said. So
right.
What have you been doing?
Okay, so I've been doing enough. In the realm of what we were just talking about, like I said, you said around the same time. It all really kind of started when we did the
Beefcake Craft Party.
Yeah, that's right. The BCCP,
yes.
The first BCCP. That's when we messed with the Deathstroke and the like, and I practiced some diorama shit with the foam, and then now moving on, we've come here. So I love the Mezco line. There's some misses, but when they hit hard. So some are undeniably good. Some are just kind of like a little off. Mm-hmm. A good example is the brown costume Wolverine. I think is definitely off. The boots have laces, so it doesn't have the Wolverine touch to it. The head sculpts.
These boots don't typically have laces, do they?
Yeah, and Mezco likes to do variants on takes, which I love. I collect play art, so I'm all about variants, or at least a few. But that being said, sometimes it hits, sometimes it misses. In my particular instance with that Wolverine, I say it was a miss. The shoulder pads are kind of cool, but he's wearing like biker shorts over the tights. They're just a little weird. But an absolute hit with me was the Deathstroke Mezco that I really, really enjoyed. And, of course, you all know that because, BCCP, I just gave him some tassels and that's it. But aside from that, the unmasked head has a lot of character. The mask head is really well done, nice and clean. And the costume is simple yet tactical. Like, I really like it. With that being said, I bought the Mezco 112 Commander Rogers. Now, Commander Rogers was a point in Steve Rogers' career as a character that I really loved. I loved the costume design. I was a huge mark when they incorporated it into Winter Soldier. So you actually got the cinematic version of it, essentially. I liked him kind of moving into the role of a commander where he has, placement and shield and runs covert ops and shit. Like, I loved that angle. So I wanted the figure, so I bought the figure. And though I loved the figure, for the most part, I couldn't stand the head sculpt on it. Like, could not stand it.
It was very, very plain and dull.
Yeah, very plain, very dull. It's just meh. It's, he has no expression. It's just indifferent.
It's very much
neutral.
Yeah, very much a driver's license photo.
Yeah. I compare it to like a G.I. Joe Duke from like fucking the 80s. You know what I mean? Where it's just zero real expression.
Yeah.
There he is. He's getting his head kicked in right now. So that being said, I decided to go on eBay. Look up some Marvel Legends because I one day just took the head off of my Mezco and popped on a head. I think it was my Old Man Logan head. I was like, let me see if one of these works. So I popped off my Old Man Logan head, popped it on the cap, and I was like, holy shit, it just pops in. No problem. I didn't have to edit it, nothing.
It's a sweet feeling when you find a figure that is like unrelated, pretty much unrelated, but just fits perfectly.
Yeah.
And not just like looks right, but actually fits in the ball peg.
And that's why I was like, you know what? This is the shit.
Yeah.
I'm liking this, right? So immediately I went on eBay. and I was checking some Captain Americas that maybe had variant heads, or just some Marvel Legends that might have good heads. And I had the Commander Rogers Marvel Legend, but the proportions were a little off on that figure. He only had trigger fingers. He didn't have fist hands. He didn't have... his articulation was fine, but, the stars weren't on the arms right. And, and his head was a little too big. So I'm like, well, I don't want anything that would be too big. So I found $8 loose, the Captain America and Iron Man Face Off Civil War pack. I found a loose cap for $8. He had a really good maskless head that also came with the helmeted head. So I got that, bought him for $8, repainted the head so that it matched closer to the skin, so it matched the skin tone of the body, lightened up the hair, and lo and behold, it was the shit. So I found out the helmeted head pops on nicely. And since the Marvel Legend head is scaled down a little bit more, it makes the body seem more like it's a heroic proportion. So it ended up working out really well. So
brother dude.
So now he's a jacked brother dude. So I didn't want to stop there. The Commander Rogers came with a photon shield that's see-through, and I wanted him to have a real shield. So the $8 one came with a battle-damaged Civil War shield.
So the shield has seen some shit.
Yeah, so it's got a bunch of scuffs and like gunpowder dirt and all these like crazy scuffs on it. So it's really cool. So I just dremeled out the hole, took the smallest magnet I had, retrofitted it to the back with some 2-part epoxy, painted over it with the necessary paint and wash. And then after I did that, the magnet already fit to the magnet on the back of this cap's straps and his forearms. So it was perfect. So now I have my desired version of a Mezco Commander Rogers. The only thing I would want now is the fingerless gloves, but at this point it's just a little bit of the nitpicking. Either way, I'm happy with it, and I really want to continue to do some really cool stuff like that. Small mods first before I move on to big mods. Right now I'm kind of working on a knockoff Play Arts Injustice, or not Injustice, but Dawn of Justice Superman. So I want to just brush up on my paints for him. I'm going to give him a collar and some other cool stuff. So hopefully it works out. Aside from that, on the artistic thing, I'll keep it short. I've had some projects actually come my way, which is nice. Mm-hmm. You might know this fucking guy for always being around us. His name is Leonard Literacy. But I just, out of the kindness of my heart, decided to give him a t-shirt design that doesn't look like absolute horseshit. Yeah. So he got some original art from me and his tag partner, Dewey Decimal. I met you once. High five, kid. Stay in there. Don't bump wrong. Protect yourself at all times. And get some real gear made.
Yep. He's contacted me.
That's good because, man, I'm sure, there's a future for you, but it's not in a button-up. Yeah. I'm telling you, don't wrestle in those.
It's a very interesting choice to go with.
Yeah, but I get it.
I suppose it's probably...
It's
hard to say whether it is or isn't better than just wearing just regular Walmart, athletic wear.
True. I mean, either way you slice it, eventually... he's green, so eventually he's going to have custom gear. He'll be fine. Yeah. He's
definitely the only one who wrestles looking the way he does.
Yeah. So, he's memorable. Out. Either way, he's got some gear, got some sweet t-shirt design coming his way. I don't know if he's seen the design yet, but Leonard has, and he was very happy with it. So,
awesome. Yeah, it looks really cool, fun.
Yeah, well, one of the few times in my life I actually had a good time drawing people I don't like. I don't mean people, I mean person.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Leonard, you suck. Moving on.
Yes.
So, what are we hot off the heels on?
San Diego Comic Con.
Yes, sir.
With movie trailers, TV show trailers, video game trailers, toy exclusives. releases, all that stuff.
The toy shit.
Yeah, we'll get there.
This toy shit is gonna be massive, guys.
Yeah,
so
it's insane.
Hold on to your butts.
Hold on to your butts. Which I find funny. I watched Kong the other night, finally, because the director is eventually going to... he's looking to direct a Metal Gear Solid film. That's another story. But Samuel Jackson's in there, and he does say, hold on to your butts.
He sure does. And it made me very, very happy.
Oh, yeah. But yeah, San Diego Comic Con had a lot of stuff. We definitely got our movie trailers. Finally got our Aquaman. Got our Shazam. We got a Godzilla King of the Monsters trailer. Yep. Young Justice is coming back. It's going to be exclusive on the DC application, then DC Universe. The application that's going to be coming up. If you pre-order, you get it for less than what you would if you pay what I believe is $75.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah,
they don't sponsor us, so I don't need to go into details.
Yeah.
But and also what has been also the Titans trailer for the TV show is going to be on the DC Universe app.
On the Universe.
And
network.
then Hush, the animated movie, which I think is way long overdue, but for me, that's awesome because I'm a big fan of the Hush comic because of Jim Lee's style and also
it got a lot of people.
The incorporation of just like all the villains or most of the villains, if anything.
It got a lot of people into Batman again, or kids that didn't know him who started to read. That would be their quintessential arc.
I think Hush is what got me into graphic novels.
Yeah,
it really got me into reading more comics,
and that's awesome.
Yeah.
Now, the thing about Hush is it was written by Jeff Loeb, and Jeff Loeb half the time he's a pretty shock writer. Like he'll do shit just to do it, you know. He'll fuck some shit up just to fuck it up. He wrote Ultimatum for the Ultimate Universe. That's absolute bananas too. There's people just dying left and right for no reason. It's kind of funny. But Hush is long overdue, like you said. Yeah. And it's just some of Jim Lee's finest work. And it put him on the map yet again from not only being the quintessential Marvel artist during the heyday of the 90s, but now, you know, in the early 2000s being the quintessential Batman artist for DC. Yeah. And he moved on to do Superman Unchained as well on the New 52 relaunch, which he helmed. So there was a lot of there's a lot going on with Hush, and I think it's a really good idea.
I'm excited to see the style choice that they go with. We haven't seen anything on it. We just got an announcement, which usually after announcements with the animated movies, we kind of get stuff pretty quickly. So hopefully we start seeing stuff with probably whatever new animated movies. We'll start seeing some pre-production stuff.
And it'll be cool because, like, usually their art style will stay the same for the movies that they want to keep in their shared universe, but it'll alter for story if it's for a specific graphic novel. You know, like Justice League Dark had the shared universe animation because that wasn't based off of a specific novel. However, Flashpoint had tried to use the same art. DC New Frontier tried to mimic the art, things like that. So Killing Joke had its own art style. I wouldn't say that tried to mimic it necessarily, just because Killing Joke is very, very detailed. Yeah. And then, so they'll probably run with the Jim Lee style for this film, so that should be pretty cool.
For sure. And also, we got a trailer for Dragon Ball Super Broly.
Yeah, we did.
Which, it seems like this... Because you have Vegeta say, who the hell is this guy? So this is pretty much kind of retconning.
Yes.
The movie that preceded this.
Well, movies are essentially retconned. Movies were never...
They barely... It's like, you wonder, like, whether they exist in a timeline or in the canon, and they pretty much don't.
They don't.
They're just
they try to find out spots where they could exist, where there's, like, leeway, but they never really exist in canon. Yeah. So Broly, though, was very popular mainly because of his first film. The other installments were whack, to be honest.
I didn't really watch
the second movie was just for a send-off for him to have an actual death, and the third movie was a bio Broly, which, just listen to the title. stupid too. So,
which I've seen the 3-packs of those, and I'm like, I haven't really sat down and watched them beginning to end, so I'm wondering if I should.
The first movie,
for sure. First movie I do already own.
Yeah, the first movie's the shit mainly because Brawley's backstory is dumb, but who fucking cares? It created somebody so dope. If you need to get a general idea of how Broly works, watch the Team 4-Star movie of Broly, the abridged movie, and it'll give you everything you need. Because Vegeta cowers the whole time, you know, during the actual film.
You never see a Vegeta.
But it's great in the Team 4-Star one because every time Vegeta gets whooped, he'll go, "Ah, so cool!" And then Broly will say something stupid, and he'll go, "Ah, so dumb!" And that just happens all the way through the 4-Star movie because his origin is fucking dumb, but he is so dope. So, it's just all these conflicting moments.
Because Goku made him cry?
Yeah.
That's pretty much
because Goku would cry all the time, and Broly was stuck next to him. And Broly was born the legendary Super Saiyan, and he didn't like that much. Now, the things that precede that were good, like King Vegeta trying to kill Paragus before the planet exploded. But Broly, even as a child, was so powerful, he was able to force field them both from the blast and then find another planet. Even as a baby, that's how strong Broly was. His sense of survival saved Paragus and himself. So that was cool. Yeah. But he remembers Goku because all he did was cry like a bitch.
It makes me think of me and dealing with children.
So you might like it even more now watching it.
I think I am Broly.
I'm scared. But either way, so the new Broly, I read, it's a complete retelling, and it's to make sure he is now canon. Yeah. So
that's awesome.
It's great. Now, this Broly looks very different. It is definitely not the same as the movie Broly, for sure. At first, I was really on the fence. I didn't like it because there were, no reds or golds in the uniform, which really bothered me because... Or, the purple jewels, or the blue jewels, because, it separates all these, contrasting colors, create this memorable character. Yeah. Now, this one is all cold colors, and there's no, gold or anything in it. But the redesign looks sweet. And Toriyama designed the first Broly, but there were different writers and producers for the movies than there was the show. So Toriyama did the design, but he just thought nothing of it. So after he rewatched the Broly movies again, he decided to retweak and change the character. So this is a new version of Broly that will remain canon, it sounds like. So hopefully it works out, and I'm really looking forward to it.
And then we see Broly having a eating contest with Majin Buu.
Or he does karaoke in space. Yes. That's the only thing I am not fucking looking forward to.
Is how they're gonna work him in, and either he dies or he disappears and eventually comes back to help out in some way. But in the end, they always end up becoming friends of Goku.
So all the movies, which I'm hoping isn't true in this one, with all the movies recently, with the Battle of the Gods and Resurrection of F, right? They are just short, to the point stories about what they will eventually elaborate on in the show. So, which leads me to believe that this is going to be the same thing with Broly. That it's probably going to be integrated into the next season of Dragon Ball Super, which is great. But that being said, there's going to be a lot to take in, I think, when this Broly surfaces. So either way, here's to a better story, but the design is really good. And I've noticed that now that there's a specific artist change, in the animation style, you'll notice that lately, in the beginning, Dragon Ball hair was very angular. There was always sharp points, almost like a polygonal. The new stuff is a lot more free-flowing, and I don't know if you've noticed that. Because
I think I've noticed...
there's smooth lines now. There isn't jagged lines to define the hair. Mm-hmm. So the shapes are the same, but they're all organic shapes. So now it feels like it's flowing hair, and not so much just hair that moves because it's just in this universe.
Okay.
And Brawly is a very distinct example of that. So now, like, if you watch the trailer and you watch Goku bounce around, his hair sways with him. Mm-hmm. Stuff like that.
It's not like really strong hair gel anymore.
Yeah. Well, and even if it is, it's like, at least it looks like it's hair that would exist in this universe. So, just really cool stuff like that.
I have to watch the trailer again. Just kind of take a look at that.
We'll definitely take a peek.
I'm excited for this. Cause,
me too.
I haven't been able to really stick with the seasons because, or with the episodes of the show because it's a lot.
It is, but Jiren was what you got coming out of that, and Jiren is the shit.
Yeah.
So, you got some really memorable characters coming in the last half of that season. Mm-hmm. The Goku Black arc was really good. Then there was like whatever, and then it went to the tournament. So then it was good again. Just like Resurrection of F was good and some of the lead up, and then there was things, and then we got to the tournament. So, you know, the filler is the filler. There's some shit that I don't give a fuck about.
Yeah.
But when the stuff gets good, it gets really good. Yeah. So there's that.
Right on. So what else we got?
We should probably start with the man from underwater.
Aquaman.
I want
permission to come aboard, sir.
Yeah, permission to come aboard that pussy. Which is probably what every girl thought. I'm sorry. Was that sexist? Who cares?
Probably. Me too.
Find me at Sean Slade at... No, I'm just kidding. I want to know what your first impressions were of the Aquaman trailer. Go.
No idea.
Okay.
So
great talk.
Yeah, no. I watched this trailer and I'm watching the entire way through and I'm like, I have no idea what to think. I really don't. And that's because...
Indifferent, then.
Yeah, I'm very indifferent just because, like, I feel like this may be a fun movie, but I think I still have a bitter taste in my mouth from all the other Marvel movies. Even though I totally... DC movies, my bad. But I totally have faith in James Wan to make a fun superhero movie because that's pretty much what he did with the Fast and Furious movies. True. And so I feel like this may not be a bad movie. It's just I don't think... this trailer best represented what we may be getting. I think it did a good job of showing us what we're going to see in the movie, pretty much. Mm-hmm. The hell's you combining them both?
Double shield!
But, I think it did a good job of showing us what we're going to see in the movie, clearly, but I don't know if it best represents, like, the movie itself.
Sure.
I guess,
that
makes sense.
Yeah.
So, that's just kind of how I feel about it. It's like, I came out of this weekend... after seeing everything, just not full-on sure how to feel about what I've seen. So, and that's because like I didn't grow up, and we talked about it earlier. I didn't grow up a huge Aquaman fan.
Nobody did.
Yeah. So like
to be fair,
so the knowledge that I have of Aquaman
not of our generation.
is very minimal, and so it's like it's hard for me to really judge it. Not really because in the end, it's kind of like, do I really care? And that's because like it's not a character that I
care about.
So it's like I don't feel like my opinion is really valid.
Okay,
it's kind of pretty much where I stand with it.
Okay.
What about you?
So the Aquaman trailer, there are things that I like, and I think it's very ambitious. But right now, it just looks like Right now, it just kind of looks like Avatar. Where it's just kind of trying to shock the shit out of me, apparently, with like all the colors and effects. But what I did get that's good out of the trailer is I feel like all the quintessential Aquaman shit that people liked in the New 52 run is here. Mm-hmm. So you had the trench monsters, like the Trench. Those dudes are really brutal. So I thought that was really exciting. You have Orm, a.k.a. Ocean Master, which is great. And then you have Black Manta. So, and you have Mera, So there's a lot of awesome Aquaman shit that has happened over the last, I'd say probably 10 years that they have stored up in this movie. But they're all putting it into one movie. So it could be awesome or it could be not so awesome. It could just overreach.
Yeah.
I'm scared that it'll be mediocre because I feel like this movie should be the one to break out.
Mm-hmm.
But with the effects that are involved, which all look pretty awesome, I'm worried that it'll still be stale. And so far, James Wan doesn't really make things stale, so I'm counting on that.
Yeah. So far, like anything that he's done, he's been involved with, has been really good.
Sure.
Like even a movie like one of his earlier movies, Dead Silence, was really good. And that was a horror movie.
I haven't seen it.
That was I remember seeing that in theaters, and that was a really good horror movie. I was freaked out by it. But no, I think his his mind going in, like he knows what he wants to portray, and I think he knows how to portray it properly on screen,
sure,
while making like a silly series of race car movies into this outlandish superhero-ish type movies that we love so much. Like, no matter how you feel about it, it's like, yes, they're ridiculous, but they're fucking fun.
Yeah.
And so I feel like if anything, this movie is going to be fun.
Yeah.
And it's really just leaning away from like what they were trying to do in another movie that was directed by someone else, trying to take like whatever ideas someone else may have had and try to do it their own way, like with Justice League.
Right. So I believe at the end of the day, not tampering with a director's vision is the smartest thing you can do in the long run. I understand that they tried to redo all the shit for Justice League and it ended up suffering aesthetically more so than it should have. And, there was lots of tampering with the Snyder Cut, and apparently he got fired from it, even though they say it's from the family suicide. Whatever the case may be, that dude has a vision, and he believes in it, and it's obvious that the final product was not his. Mm-hmm. The same thing with BVS before the director's cut. Was that movie perfect? No. But was the director's cut better? I'd say a full half grade better than the original.
It added some depth and context to certain things.
It made the plot make a little bit more sense. Yeah. Things like...
It made some motivations of certain characters make a lot more sense.
Yeah, and the KGB dude mattered.
Yeah. Before
he just seemed like a dude.
Yeah. And then we knew that camera guy was Jimmy Olsen.
Yeah, exactly. It's shit like that. Like, come on, just let him have his tea. You know what I mean? You hired him for it.
Yeah.
So
clearly you entrusted this guy to freaking make 2 other movies.
Yeah. 3.
Was it 3? Yeah, 3.
Until the reshoots.
Yeah.
So that being said, I think that Aquaman is probably going to be good by proxy, just because this movie had no tampering that I know of.
Yeah.
And James Wan seems like he's very, very proud of it, and I follow him.
And we haven't heard of anything with reshoots or anything
exactly.
Like that. It's just like,
and I think
forgetting what's been...
Just let the director do him. I know it's a multi-million-dollar project, but you went in with this in mind. Let him do it.
Hopefully they are learning from their mistakes with letting him just kind of do his thing and let this movie be. And because their mistakes were the studio getting involved.
Yeah, Suicide Squad was a huge example. Do I think the original cut of that movie was good? Probably not. I'm going to be honest. But it was probably coherent. Mm-hmm. Because one thing that movie was fucking coherent to me. Suicide Squad was all over the place.
I think probably because I don't believe I watched they didn't release a director's cut of that.
They did.
Okay,
but
I can't say I watched it.
But it's like fucking 10 minutes of extra
shit. So it's not like the hours of footage.
Yeah, it's like 10 or 13 minutes, and none of it really puts anything together.
Because I feel like if we got exactly what what was put out there, like the stuff that they focused on, probably is what leaned away from the main story that they were trying to tell.
Yeah.
And it probably put too much focus on like Harley and Joker, which is kind of what people would have wanted.
Yeah.
Is more of that focus versus what we got.
Yeah.
Because no one really cares about
it's like
Hunt or Witch Triss
or Enchantress.
Enchantress.
Okay, so the other issue I have also is like, because of the way things are now, people the studio doesn't want to glorify an abusive relationship between two villains. And to me, I think it's kind of ridiculous.
Yeah.
Because Joker sells, and people know he's a fucking murdering psychopath. Mm-hmm. Harley suffers from Stockholm Syndrome. That's why she's the character she is. That's what makes that love interest so dynamic. Mm-hmm. So to take it away and just make it kind of like, I love you, kinda, but I love you. Maybe no, I don't know.
Yeah, because the Joker that I like, and the Joker that a lot of people like, is like someone who is asexual, does not care about
you go either
pleasures
way.
of the flesh. He doesn't care about that stuff. He cares what you can do for him to help him get like whatever he needs, or his to fulfill his selfish needs. That's about it.
And there was they filmed him slapping her in the film. We know that was like something cut, but it's good because that establishes how fucked up he is and how fucked up she is mentally. Mm-hmm. Just takes one hit. He didn't need to beat her and rape her. None of that shit. He put her in her place once, or he just not even put her in her place, just lashed out and just did it. Mm-hmm. And then he could have been like, "Oh, baby, I'm sorry. You know what you mean to me." Like, he could have just drills the psychopath home a little bit more, Yeah.
Which I see him doing more with other males.
Yeah,
like beating the crap out of him. I was like, "Oh, I'm so sorry."
To
do that.
And I mean, even
shoots
though
him in the head,
even though he was doing his best fucking Ace Ventura impressions, as a clown,
and I feel like
I
feel like it could have came out better too if the editing wasn't so chippy choppy. I feel like I knew
that's
what they were.
Big one.
Yeah, I feel like I knew what they were going for. Where it's like it's kind of like in Batman Begins when they're showing the fight scenes, and we're seeing the fight scenes from the thug's point of view.
Yeah, exactly.
So we're barely seeing Batman and all that stuff, so that's why it is the way it is.
Yeah.
When we really want to see the fight, but we get what the director's trying to give us.
Yeah.
Whereas like what I see with Joker and Suicide Squad, it's like they're given this like he's all over the place, he's psychotic, he's crazy. So they're making it chippy choppy because that's how we view the Joker.
Psychotic.
Just being all over the place. But like being done by a trailer house just like didn't.
It wasn't cohesive.
No, it wasn't working.
All right, moving on. Mm-hmm. Shazam. So, you already said that you have an indifference because you don't know how to feel. Anything striking you at all in this?
Like with this one, it's another one where I wasn't 100% sure how to feel, where it's like, other than the obvious, I don't know a whole lot about the Shazam character other than what I've seen online, but once again, it's another character I didn't necessarily grow up on. I've only just kind of vaguely know about through like the animated movies and a little bit with the animated series, and I never read any comics with Shazam, so it's like I feel like I'm a fan that doesn't necessarily have a place in this. So it's like it's hard for me to really think. It's like, is this right? Does it feel right? Like it's just hard for me to have an opinion on it. Like, does it look like it's gonna be a entertaining movie? Yeah, it looks entertaining. But it's just like I think
you don't know if the character's being done justice. You don't know the storylines. Sure,
it just seems kind of weird, just because it feels very different from the Billy Batson that we're getting as him as a boy, and then what he ultimately turns into when he becomes Shazam, and he acts very differently. Like, he still acts like a kid, but he's not
more
acting
excitable.
like that kid.
Sure.
So.
Now, I think part of what they're going for is that you take. So this Billy Batson seems unexcitable. Like he's just like whatever. Like you're a
nothing
nerd.
Phases him.
You're a nerd. I'm just gonna move
very
on.
Cynical.
He's very regular DCEU, but his buddy is very. Yeah, go get him. This is fun. He loves superheroes. I know he's a cripple, but it's cool because you can tell his buddy idolizes heroes. Mm-hmm. So then when Billy gets the powers, he becomes an excitable young boy as a grown-ass man.
Yeah.
And that's cool. I like that dynamic a lot because that means when he's grown, he has an even bigger incentive to act like a child than he does as a child. Mm-hmm. So it's an interesting dynamic because he has a buddy who's really into it being a kid, and then you have a kid who's not really into it, but then gets powers and then gets into it.
So he's like in touch with his inner child when he becomes
an adult, yes. Yeah. Instead of when he's a child, being a powerful child because he's gone through so much shit.
Yeah, like the trailer definitely had moments I really dug. I really like. I really just like him. Your phone's charged. Your phone's charged.
And then he blew up the guy's phone. He's like, "Hey!"
And he he discovers that he's bulletproof, and he's like, "That's awesome. You're dead.
You're dead." And then he throws him. Yeah, he throws him out.
Like, thanks for the stuff, but sorry about your window, but you're welcome for not getting robbed.
You're welcome for not getting robbed.
Like, I like moments.
And then he looks at the chick and he's like, "Hey, I'm a superhero,"
which I imagine is how you would be.
Absolutely. Hey, how you doing? I'm a superhero.
It made me think of you, and it's like, Sean would say that if he was like
eating a bag of chips with a bunch of junk food in his arms. Fuck yeah, that's me now. Hey, what's up? I'm a superhero.
No, like I definitely feel like it's gonna be a fun movie. You were saying you had a stance on it with it. You kind of had your gripes with it, thinking that John Cena would have been better in this role.
I do. I still think that John Cena, aside from what you brought up about certain aesthetics, I still think this role was written for him because it's very seldom that you find a guy with a physique like his that can turn the kid on and the serious on at a flip of the switch, and you believe each one.
Yeah.
Funny John Cena is fucking funny.
Yeah.
Hilarious John Cena is fucking hilarious. And he knows how to be because John Cena has great comedic timing. Mm-hmm. Which is something you don't find in a lot of people. Like, Chris Hemsworth has really good comedic timing.
Yeah.
Did it overtake the character of Thor? Yes. I'm not going to go into that because I've gone into that so many times. But that being said, it's shit like that like I think he would have been great at. He has the presence. Hearing him yell Shazam, you can hear it. Mm-hmm. He can yell, he can be soft, he can be serious, he can be rambunctious, he can be boisterous. It's just that the guy has so much range for that character that I thought it would have been awesome.
Yeah.
What I hope is that he does the voice acting for one of the DC movies for him, just to flex that, because I really do think that John Cena would.
Considering that he has been doing some voice acting stuff, I can totally see that happening. But
and I want Samoa Joe to do a voice acting of Shazam, or not Shazam, but Black Adam.
Black Adam.
Just because I know Samoa Joe's doing voice acting in the upcoming Transformers TV show.
Okay.
He's Predaking. So
nice.
I was like, fuck yeah, sign me up. Because I always thought Joe has one of the most like no bullshit, absolute down to brass tacks business voices and demeanors.
Kind of like a what is it? Like what Kevin Michael Richardson can put on. He's done so many different things, like the Shredder and
sure,
and he's done the Joker for the Batman cartoon. But he's done voices for like everything. But there's certain actors that like have done like those voices where you hear them deep and you're just like, is that Kevin Michael Richardson? Is that this person, that person? So it's he definitely has a voice that can really lend to voice acting. It's good to know that he has that. fall back on.
Yeah. It's
like
awesome.
not that like he's not doing well, but it's like eventually your body ain't gonna keep up.
Yeah, I mean he can retire and still do great things.
Yeah, it's not like he could be sitting behind a sewing machine making wrestling gear.
Yeah, what a fucking idiot. All right, but honestly, I think Shazam is gonna be better.
Yeah.
I like in my head.
I think over the 2 DC trailers that we got, I'm definitely looking more forward to Shazam.
Yeah.
To see something like that, something I haven't seen before. Zachary Levi in that role, I kind of like that dude as a comedic actor and stuff. So I think it would be very entertaining to see.
I think it'll be a lot of fun. I think it'll be a lot of fun.
And the dynamic of like two friends, like or brothers or whatever the case, like just kind of getting an understanding of like his new powers or these powers and how he's going to use them and all that stuff. He's
the hero that would have lended himself the best to like a Pixar film. So I think as long as it's well executed, it'll have a lot of charm.
Yeah.
Moving on to what I'd say is the best trailer out of everything over SDCC, I'm going to go ahead and say Godzilla King of the Monsters.
Okay.
Because first of all, I want to bring up in this trailer the music. Because what I really loved about it is that they took a classical piece and they didn't take an old song and modernize it to the trailer. Which, don't get me wrong, sometimes it's really good, but most of the times it just feels like a cash grab. Mm-hmm. I don't want to hear Nirvana played slow, sung by a soft-spoken white woman over an acoustic guitar. Like, go fuck yourself. I'm over that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There are some that you can do that'll match up really well. But, ever since Suicide Squad, where they just reamed all music, the whole soundtrack, just to get buy rates, which worked, it's just, I'm over it. But this, it took the classical piece and then something soft and applied it to something that has so much grandeur and like that has such a big scale. It makes every piano beat until it's altered and they make it build up and get more suspenseful. It makes every key of that piano match up with the scene that happens in the film. And it's like awesome. damn, and then bam, 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 and then bam, and then close.
In editing, it's really because it's come from someone who's like made little videos.
I mean, editing is a lot of fucking work, dude.
Yeah, but like to edit music to what you see on the screen in that sense, where certain beats match other beats. The visual beat matches the musical beat. The audio. It just fucking works, and it's like it's hard not to try and do that when you're editing. So it's like really cool that they did that.
It's why entrance music is so fucking important in wrestling, and the way your entrance works,
or lack thereof,
because honestly though, really it's a play to the character. So I know the character of this film just from that trailer, and mind you, the only full shot that you had of any monster in this film was still just Godzilla. You got full shots of monsters that were either covered in smoke, they were covered in smog, they were frozen, like all this stuff, because you never got a direct view except of Godzilla at the end, letting off the trademark roar. Oh, you saw him in the beginning when he shot the sky beam out of his mouth, too. That was sweet.
Yeah.
But then he did his trademark roar with the military behind him moving forward, and then scene close and the title pops up.
Yeah.
Amazing. Like, that trailer is fantastic. And it's not... All it is a narrative. It's a narration over the shit that's cracking, and it's all wild. So, like, I definitely suggest you watching that trailer if you haven't yet. And if it doesn't get you pumped for this movie, you should probably, fucking jump off a roof.
I think I'm going to jump off a roof because it didn't do much for me.
Didn't do it for you?
Yeah.
Jump off a fucking roof, Jeff Hardy.
So when I...
Yardy!
So when I watched it, I really just got a sense of this movie's going to have a lot of fluff.
Oh, you think so? Especially since the first Godzilla movie, right? Because there was a lot of fluff.
Yeah, there was a lot of fluff. There was a lot of just a lot of stuff that you didn't really care about in a Godzilla movie.
Sure.
And then I did kind of dig the whole teasing of a fight, and then you miss it completely.
Yeah, yeah.
I like that. I like that build up.
I thought that was cool the first 2 times.
Yeah, they did it way more than they needed to. It
was a little bit much.
I think 1, 2, and then 3 being the fight. Yeah, that's how you do it. It's the the rule of 3s.
Sure.
But no, it's I kind of dug that just because of the build up to it, because it built that suspense. It's like, oh, come on, I want to see the fucking fight. But then they saved the fight, which was fucking epic right at the end.
Right at the end.
But you have all the fluff in the middle. Then it's it's going to focus on the little girl from Stranger Things. It's going to focus on these other characters. It's going to focus on a bunch of science. And that's all I got from it.
I mean, I think...
I totally get the beauty and the ambiance of that.
I love that
they did. I get that. Yeah. That you see it that way, but I saw it in a totally different perspective as
what is it gonna be?
Yeah, what we're probably gonna end up getting is just a bunch of stuff we don't care about and very little of what we actually want.
Sure.
So
we'll see. Yeah. Either way, you call it King of the Monsters. And if I don't see
the movie, I want it to prove me wrong.
So you know what I really want is, you said the rule of 3s, and I understand that. But what I want is, I think it would be sweet. If I had to do this movie, I would start off with a fight. I would actually start off with the final fight. With a showdown. And then, as moves happen, you cut away, and then you go to the how did we get here? And then you go back in, and you start, the fight happens, and then another monster comes in, and you're like, oh shit, pull away. And then it'll go about that creature and how it got there. Go back to the fight, all this shit happens, and then fucking Ghidorah shows up. With the 3-headed dragon, King Ghidorah or whatever. Ghidorah shows up, and you're like, how the fuck did he get here? And then pull back, and then that pullback will fade into the final moments of the fight.
Yeah.
Because then you'll always get a fight, you'll always get different monsters, and it'll never feel dull because the fight has been happening the whole time. I just think that would be really cool.
Yeah, I think my only worry is that it's not going to be well balanced.
Sure. And, I mean, how do you balance that?
I know.
Rodan, Godzilla, Mothra, and King Ghidorah, get the fuck out of here.
Because they can either give us too much or they can give us too little. And I feel like with a Godzilla movie, what people want, they want too much. They want a lot of fighting. They want to see the guys beat the shit out of each other. And I get story is important. I'm a wrestler. I totally get that shit. But I just feel like the story that they're going to tell is going to be similar to the story in the first movie.
So Rampage was stupid. But I will say that Rampage had the perfect amount. Rampage got it. Because Rampage had it in 3s. Right? So they had the crazy wolf thing. They had the ape.
The ape,
and then they had
the lizard, the crocodile,
the fucking alligator crocodile snapping turtle. That was my fucking shit. So,
but watch that. I did want to see that movie.
The last 20 minutes of that movie was worth my admission.
Yeah, I remember
because that fight, aside from The Rock being invincible, like usual, is. That was good balance because you grew with George, I think is the name of
George, yeah.
So you grew with George and you grow with The Rock and you have a connection, and then you saw the other, the villain show up, the wolf thing show up, and you're like, oh shit, it's in the forest, and then they have that encounter scene, and then they move forward with science and trying to deal with George, and then it comes to the showdown where it's the wolf thing versus George, and then nobody expected it out of left field. The crocodile mutant shows up, and they're like, there was 3? Yeah. So that thing shows up, and it becomes the final boss. So essentially, it just becomes this fucking all-out war.
Yeah.
And it was
awesome.
And it was worth it. So
they have to check out because like
check it out because you'll see pacing and like how I might have hope for this.
Because like I felt like pacing was pretty good on Kong Skull Island.
Yeah,
because
I thought
they
Kong's
gave you
was pretty good too.
Yeah, because like they did a great setup with the characters, but they didn't like put too much into that. They kind of moved quickly into the point of the movie.
Yeah, because you worry that the movie isn't about Kong, right? Yeah. And that's where you start to get kind of salty. But no, I think they did a really good job. And then they introduce like these other monsters, or not even monsters, just these creatures, and it's like they're in their world. It's a giant fucking spider that happens to kill one. They think all this stuff is malicious from these creatures, when really they're just giant fucking creatures, and they're the fucking like insects, and like it's hard to escape all that stuff. So it's like they're trying to shoot the spider, but the spider it's like only attacking because they're attacking. And it's like. And I also love the cinematography in this movie too. The movie was sweet.
I honestly feel
it was because
I never originally went out to go see Kong because I never really cared about like King Kong. I never cared about all that stuff.
Sure.
Like it's not really a story or a character I really cared about, but this was definitely leaned away what you would expect out of a King Kong movie, and it like everything was just like honestly this movie is really one of my favorites.
Yeah,
like
it's
I
awesome.
can honestly say that. Like I'm glad that I bought a physical copy of this and I can watch it whenever I want, because like I would watch this movie over and over.
So the funny part at the end of Kong, what I was telling myself the most is I was like, so Godzilla doesn't stand a chance, right? Like, because you saw the fight between Godzilla and the fucking creatures at the end of its film, and like it was. Man, he had to deal with some shit. Mm-hmm. But oh, what a satisfying end to that thing.
Yeah.
When he opened up its mouth and he blew it. Fucking dope.
That was awesome.
But, it was a struggle for Godzilla. Mm-hmm. And Godzilla's been around.
Yeah. Because he's getting hurt throughout the film.
Yeah, correct. But Kong...
Oh, I mean, I'm sorry. Kong is getting hurt throughout the film.
Yeah, Kong is getting hit. But Kong... is like a child, by comparison. He will be bigger.
Yeah.
And Kong might as well know MMA, because that motherfucker knew some shit. Mm-hmm. So if you're... and this is the same universe. So if you're putting Kong against that Godzilla, Godzilla doesn't have the reach.
No.
Godzilla doesn't have the speed.
No.
Kong was just like a fucking monster in that movie. He was awesome. So yeah, either way...
And then also at the end, the tag end of after the credits and all that stuff shows that this is the same universe.
Yep, that it's a shared universe.
It's a shared universe. They show you previews of like all the monsters, which like the silhouettes. I've seen those shapes before.
Yeah,
like I never really watched
in the cave paintings and shit. Was
all
really
that stuff.
cool.
I've seen that stuff before, and it's like, and I actually got like, and because I never really knew, like I've heard that like King Kong and Godzilla are supposed to have their own movie and all that stuff. I heard that stuff, but that all went to the back of my mind. And then when I saw this, I was legit like, oh, cool.
Yeah,
I watched this movie just in time.
It's sweet.
Which a year from now is when they're going to announce Kong versus Godzilla.
Man. I don't know how the fuck that's gonna work.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm actually excited to see that because I thought Godzilla was good. I'm definitely gonna see this Godzilla because I did enjoy the first one, and I want to be proven wrong because it does look like fun with how they're good to incorporate the stuff that Godzilla fans do know and stuff, and especially when you modernize it like this, it's interesting to see, especially with seeing Kong Skull Island, now it being one of my favorite movies after I didn't give a shit about it before. Mm-hmm. And only because of the directors eventually going to helm the Metal Gear Solid movie, and that's why I watched it, and I got to see some of the Metal Gear Solid inspired, things within the movie, which really tickled my fancy. So, I'm kind of eager for all that.
Don't expect much Metal Gear in this next one here, but
yeah,
I'm just saying it's going to be pretty sweet.
Oh yeah.
So I got that out of the way. There was the Titans TV trailer that's on the streaming DC network. What did you think about that?
I was a little confused I think my first initial time, I think I watched it 3-4 times. But I think the first time I watched it, I was laying in bed and my eyes haven't adjusted to being open yet. Okay. So I'm watching it, so I barely can see anything. But anyway, I watched it, and the fuck Batman really took me by surprise.
It was hilarious.
But I really kind of dig what they're going for. It screams Arrow, it screams Daredevil, it screams Punisher.
It's the dark shit.
Yeah, it's just that darkness, and it feels like if they want to have that one series that goes there, then why the hell not?
So, and that's where I'm at. Now, I like it because the more I watched it, the more I ended up liking it because it got everybody talking and everybody salty about the line and shit. Yeah. And people are like, oh my god, is he killing people? Which kind of looks like he is.
He looks like he is, but I think he's just being a lot more brutal.
But I think
he's breaking Batman's rules.
Yeah, right. But I think when things boil down, they'll make a lot more sense at the end.
Plus, it's all out of context.
People don't the most effective. So the Teen Titans run, like the Titans run, back in the 80s, where Deathstroke was created and shit, was Edge. Like, it was edgy as fuck.
Yeah.
It was dark, you know what I mean? And that was... Oh, I'm sorry. Mm-hmm. What Robin is this, Tim? This is Tim Drake?
No, this is Dick.
No, this is Dick, yeah.
It's kind of amalgamation of, like, it seems like 3 different Robins.
It's definitely Dick, because that makes sense is what I was going to say.
Well, yeah.
So, because when Dick left and he struck out on his own because of Batman, that's how he was. He was like, fuck you, you're no dad of mine. You're not my fucking father. Mm-hmm. You can't control me. Like, I'm my own person. Yeah. So he was very salty and very distraught about Bruce. Mm-hmm. So that's why he was like, fuck Batman. He was like, fuck Batman. Yeah. He isn't shit. I'm Robin, Because these are the hard lessons Dick had to learn in order to be the awesome version of himself that we know today, like the Nightwing version.
Yeah.
He had to be a piece of shit first, because when that happened, he was a kid. He was the young Robin. He was the teen. So when he broke off and said, fuck you, you can't control me, that's how he is. He is the fucking upset teen.
Yeah.
So I get that. The other takes on the characters, too, it's like, the trailer's dark, but I guarantee Beast Boy probably isn't, the darkest one.
Yeah.
He'll be the relief. I think he needs to be. Mm-hmm. Starfire, it's just fine. Because Starfire I assume, is not going to be a hyper slut like she was in a few of her renditions.
Yeah.
And I think there's some fun dynamics to be played with Raven. Because I like using Raven as kind of like a horror character.
Yeah.
Because,
you can't do that in a lighter tone.
Exactly. So I think that's just fine, too. I mean, and Hawk and Dove look dope. And Hawk and Dove don't even look dope. I was like, fuck.
They're cutting people up with their fucking wings.
And people are like worried about the quality of the show. And I'm like, dude, those costumes right now are the best looking costumes on a TV show. Mm-hmm. Like, when I saw them, I was like, that looks like a movie quality costume. Mm-hmm. Because if there's one thing that misses a lot of times from these shows, I think is the quality of costume. Mm-hmm. Because it's expensive to keep that shit up, I guess. I don't know. Yeah. Honestly, I personally think it's about the design and the people who design the costume. I like Grant Gustin sometimes. Like, I like the Flash show for the seasons that I saw.
Okay.
But the uniform, I could really give a fuck about. I liked Zoom's. I like Zoom's costume.
Yeah.
How it yellowed and fades to black, like. Or not Zoom, yeah.
That was Reverse Flash.
The Reverse Flash.
Zoom
is the all-black demon zombie, which is awesome, too.
Yeah.
So really, Grant Gustin's the only outfit that I was like, eh. Yeah. But everybody else's is sweet.
It just looks like, I know they upgraded as the seasons go on, but his suit is more...
It's like...
Yeah.
It's just like a tracksuit that's really tight.
Yeah.
And I get it. But it was so far in the Titan show, I was like, dope.
Yeah.
Especially Hawk and Dove and Robin. Yeah. I was like, sign me up.
Like the Robin's just like feels spot on and right.
And also, if this is a play off of the inception of the Good Titans storyline, Deathstroke, I'm sure, will be inevitable. Because he was an important part in the Titans' history.
Yeah.
Because that's what made him... That's what put him over. So, I think putting Deathstroke in there would be choice, personally. And honestly, if I were DC, that's where I would put Manganiello's Deathstroke.
Yeah.
To be honest to God, and mine's well.
Because, like, is it supposed to be somewhat loosely based off of the movie?
Yeah, right? Who knows?
Like, it's really hard to say. Like, we know it's not based off of the CW stuff. We know it's
absolutely
separate from that
not.
Completely.
And it looks like it's more of a Snyderverse stuff than anything.
Yeah.
So, that's...
Sure, it can probably be in its own universe and stuff, but it's like... And honestly, I don't feel Manganiello wouldn't do it. Like, I feel like
it's not him.
It's not.
It's not him that would say no.
Yeah, it's not him. He will definitely be up to it. Like, he
did.
wants to do it. It's just up to the studio, and is up to the powers that be to decide whether like these things are connected or not, or just to let something cross over in some way.
I agree.
So.
The guy is older. He's not getting any younger.
Yeah.
I think if you're gonna use him, you should use him now.
Mm-hmm.
But that's what I personally think.
As every day goes by, he's doing less and less pull-ups. So.
Well, I mean, the guy is a rabid D&D'er, so that's pretty funny.
Yeah.
But,
and his wife is pretty much like the mom that provides snacks. He's literally said that. Also,
one of the hottest women,
the most gorgeous women on the planet.
Yes. So yeah, life sucks. So I don't know. I
would never want to be him.
I got big hopes for the Titan series. The Young Justice is also going to be exclusive to the DC streaming service, and that looks really good. Or at least it's like, isn't it called something other than Young Justice now?
Yeah, they add another tag to it usually. I can't remember what it was,
but either way, I loved the original series a lot. Mm-hmm. So there's nothing that sways me from believing this won't be just as good.
Yeah, like it looks really good. Obviously, continuing off of the last season that took place, so you'd almost think that no time went by at all.
Yeah, like, and I think that's sweet. You might as well just stick it to them and let it go.
Yeah,
because Warner Brothers canceled the show. Mm-hmm. So the crazy part is the show was only supposed to be a caveat for selling toys.
Yeah. Which is the case for most cartoons, yeah.
But it ended up being better than they wanted it to be. So when it wasn't about the toys, they decided to cancel the show.
Because the toys weren't selling.
And then they realized that, oh shit, the show is good and people like it.
Yeah.
So I'm glad they
now we can probably get some better toys out of it.
Yeah, actually, absolutely.
There was so many characters in that show. Why wouldn't we have fucking a series of toys?
And if you think about it, like Young Justice was around when toys were just starting to get good.
Yeah.
But
they only released them in like these diorama 2-packs that were really expensive. No one's gonna buy them.
Yeah, and they're the cartoon.
That or these little small.
The small ones, and really. There are toys to sell to kids, but as we all know nowadays,
it
ain't kids that's buying those toys.
Kids aren't buying toys. They're paying for apps that your parents don't know they're paying for.
Exactly. So the next generation might not be into toys, or maybe they will.
Like I'm getting my nephew into Lego, who's obsessed with a fucking phone.
Well, what I'm saying is like. The children of collectors will be collectors. Yeah. I can almost guarantee you that.
Or destroy the collection because they hate their fathers so much.
Wow, okay. Well, you did. I don't think your dad was a collector, so we're moving on.
No, he wasn't.
No, he wasn't.
My father made things.
He was not a collector of my life. Oh, Dark Shoots. Yeah. Oh, Snyderverse. All right, so I think those toys at the time were just ill-suited. But nowadays, that there are so many new companies that have popped up, Kickstarters are funding whole series, guys are really excited for toys, and now the kids that were watching that show were kids are now like pretty much young adults. Mm-hmm. The toys would have more relevance. So I think you just put it under the new DC Icons line, which isn't Icons anymore, it's something else. Yeah. But you Essentials. Okay. If you just do the DC Essentials versions of these figures from the fucking show, they'll sell. But that's just what I think. Either way, I'm looking forward to it. So I think that'll be good. So all in all, we got some impactful shit, but I'm still waiting on a second trailer for Aquaman. And Shazam, that was a really good first trailer. And Godzilla, I'd also say that's a really good first trailer. So as time moves on, we're going to see some better ones. I promise you that. So, also, San Diego Comic Con delivered some helping of fucking nonsense when it came to toys.
Oh, yeah, toys.
My friend.
We're diving into plastics, everyone.
Oh, shit.
So it's a lot of toys to talk about.
So if you're not into this shit, or if you're not a collector, you can probably shut this bitch off. But otherwise, I'd say keep it running if you want to hear my 2 cents about some of the stuff that's coming up. Now, I'll just touch and go on a lot of this stuff unless I love it, because then I'm just going to talk about it. So I will say that I'm going to start off with the winner of toy showings, and I'm going to go ahead and say that that's Marvel Legends. Now, for those of you who don't know, this is kind of impactful to me because I've been pretty much off the Marvel Legends train, with the exception of a couple every now and then that'll pop up that I'm like, oh yeah. So there was that Cable that popped up. I was like, yeah. X-23, I needed to finish my X-Force set. Yeah. That Nova that came out years ago, that was Richard Rider. Awesome. I love that character and that Nova. Yeah. But aside from that, I haven't been getting on. I had to get a new Century when that came out because the old Century looks like straight butt, if y'all remember that. But all in all, I was very impressed to see the showing for Marvel Legends because they're starting to include a lot more accessories and diverse characters and paints. So, for example, let's see. So they're doing a Build-A-Figure of Monster Venom after all these symbiotes. So hold on to your butts if you like Venom, which makes sense because the movie's coming out. So looking forward to that. I'm upset we didn't get a trailer, but there was footage of it at San Diego Comic Con, so I'm sure we'll get something soon. But the Monster Venom looks great. It's a big beastly version of the regular Venom. So, he's a hulking version, and I always liked my Venoms really swole. So, I got that to look forward to. Also, the GOAT of what will soon be Build-A-Figures is they announced that they have a Kingpin. Finally. The only other time you could get a Kingpin was in the 2-pack Toy Biz Marvel Legend with Unmasked and Masked Daredevil and a black suit Kingpin or a white suit Kingpin. So I'm glad that they made him, and he also has a pissed-faced variant. So looking forward to that if you're into Marvel Legends. Also, because I already have my list affixed up. So, T'Chaka.
Yes.
There we go. That's all I wanted. Yep. Yes.
I'm sorry. I was kind of setting up the podcast to get posted, so that's why I wasn't saying anything.
No. I mean, it's all good. You're doing work, but
yeah.
A reason why I paused on T'Chaka is because I know we feel mutual about.
This is a gorgeous action figure for something so simple as just adding
the design, because. Yeah. The design of T'Chaka in the movie, when I watched it, I thought was far better than the other Black Panther suits that I had seen.
It has a certain sleekness and detail to it.
His face kind of outlines a leopard, or outlines a panther. It doesn't... There are no extra features added. It's just kind of like the gold eyes and the gold jaw, and that's it, which I thought was fantastic. The African robe that they added over it is money. Yeah. It's fantastic, and I love the fact that it was that it's topped off with the tapered ninja pants, because the whole bottom aesthetic looks like ninja gear, and from the calf down it looks like tight boots with like a tabby feet, which is just like ninja shit. And then they added the African garb, and all the African garb is like purple, white, blue, a little bit of red. And then, the rest of the suit is just black with gold accents. So you get this jarring visual, but it's oh so awesome when it's all together. It's a great looking figure.
It's like this dude hangs out playing NES in this freaking thing. It's all just like decked out, and it's an awesome look.
It's a fantastic look, and Hot Toys has an exclusive of T'Chaka that was available only at SDCC, and you can also pre-order it, but that's the SDCC exclusive, was a Hot Toys T'Chaka, which I thought was amazing. And I even thought about pre-ordering it until Marvel Legends showed that they were just going to do it. And I was like, well, okay, I'm fine. Yeah. I'll pay $25 instead of $250. Don't get me wrong. The Hot Toys is great, but really, I can live with a Legend. Because when it comes to 6-scale figures, it has to be like one of my dudes.
Yeah.
And they made a Hot Toys Arkham Origins fucking Deathstroke, so that's one I have to get. Moving on. M'Baku.
Yes. From
Black Panther. Amazing. Figure's likeness is perfect. The stature's perfect. I love the character in the film. That one might have to get got. The unmasked T'Challa from Civil War looks awesome. Looks so fucking cool. The likeness to Chadwick Boseman is really awesome in that figure. And I like the Civil War suit more than his Black Panther suit. There is a Magic. That is a Walgreens exclusive. I love Magic. If you guys have been keeping up with me, at least on my Instagram. I don't know why I sounded like that just now. If you guys have been keeping up on my Instagram, you'll know that I've actually done a little portrait piece of her and posted it. So if you guys haven't seen that, you can go ahead and check it out. But I think Magic's design is awesome. I think she's OP as fuck. I love the fact that she is an RPG character in the X-Men universe. It just makes me smile. So I think she's a great character and a great figure. It's looking great. She comes with tons of accessories, like fucking flames, lightning bolts, I think, and a flame dragon and a flaming skull. It's super cool. They also previewed 90s Gambit, and I think that's way overdue. A 90s Gambit is like... the last one we had was, Series 5 of fucking Marvel Legends that came out back in Toy Biz. So I think a Gambit is a smart move. And the next Rider series entrant is Professor X with the fucking chair. 90s style. So
yeah, I think, I always think it's awesome to see, these, these newer action figures, these style action figures, but with, that older look from the cartoons.
Yeah.
Because, even though, I'm not, the largest... X-Men fan.
Yeah, sure.
But I'm enough to go see the movies, but not enough to
remember the cartoon.
I remember the cartoon.
You know the nostalgia of the look.
I remember
you know what Cyclops looks like. You know what Rogue looks like.
So it's so those kind of hit that nostalgia bug for me when I see them, and I always kind of want to get them. Even that Rogue when it was laying around.
Yep. I will listen to me. I'm I'm not really into Marvel Legends. Fuck, if I think about it, I've probably gotten I used to average fucking 3-4 Marvel Legends every 2 months.
Yeah.
But now I'm averaging 2 Marvel Legends a year.
Yeah.
Or 3 Marvel Legends a year.
Because there's some hit and misses. They have some not random characters, but they have certain characters that I definitely don't know. But I look at Legends now, as we're talking
fodder.
about. I look at them as fodder now because the customization discussion we were going over before.
Yeah.
So I look at them now, thinking what I could potentially make out of them, make toys that don't exist.
Correct.
But looking at them now in a totally different light, I always see them at Target, I always see them whenever I go, and it's these look really cool. But it's a shame I'm not really into these characters. It always feels like a waste of money. But now there's so much more adventure in the purchase of Marvel Legends for me because because they're just almost a perfect action figure in a way. When it comes to just retail.
Yeah,
When it just
they're the best out of all the retails.
Yeah, when it comes to like going to a Target or a Walmart or a Walgreens of all places, they're the perfect toy.
I mean, they're made in scale with each other.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of the bodies are reused and either have new accessories or new paints.
Mm-hmm.
And that being said, some figures have new accessories for old bodies.
Yeah.
So if you get certain Marvel Legends, you can make all new shit, and half of them don't require anything but paint.
Yeah.
You know, because you have interchangeable hands. You have interchangeable heads that fit on almost anybody. Like I said, with my Mezco, that worked.
Yeah.
So, you know,
that worked for me with a freaking Power Ranger head.
Yeah.
It's not even, it's probably a Mattel figure, but like it wasn't, but it fit the ball peg, it fit just perfectly.
So that's why, you know, universal ball pegs are awesome.
Yeah.
You know, even ones that don't fit all the way, you can Dremel out. Mm-hmm. But it's just nice that the ball pegs can just attach themselves.
Yeah.
You know, it makes the customizing, you know, worlds different.
Yeah.
Like, the world is different. So I think right now Marvel Legends are really kicking it off. I mean, this next year for them is huge. They even got that the Carnage Goblin, you know, that's coming out. They have 2-packs with Miles and fucking Spider-Gwen that looks good coming out. Just lots of really cool stuff that I didn't see coming. I'd like to segue from Marvel, who is by far the winner. And then I'd like to go to second place, which I'm going to go ahead and say is the WWE Elites. They're coming out next year. And holy shit, do they have some really cool stuff going on.
I think WWE is the one thing I'm having trouble finding on Toy Arc.
Did they even cover the WWE Elites?
Did they? I would think they did.
They don't usually.
They usually don't?
They don't.
Okay, that's
they don't.
probably why then.
So if you go ahead and check out either if you're on Instagram or not. Mm-hmm. I think maybe Ringside Collectibles has.
That's my best bet.
So Ringside Collectibles will have all of the ones that they're showing, but you know there are screenshots up as well of all the upcoming WWE figures. And one of the most impressive that I saw was the Nia Jax that comes with her hair down, and she comes with the long pigtails. So they have interchangeable heads. Balor has interchangeable hands. Almost all of them are now starting to come with interchangeable hands and different heads.
I'm looking at the unpainted Ronda Rousey, and it's just creepy.
Yeah, it's very creepy when you see it like in person. Yeah. But Ronda will be a really cool figure to have too when that finally happens. So, I mean, and Ringside Collectibles is going to have an exclusive Undisputed Era 3-pack, which is amazing because I liked Red Dragon before they came in. So now they're really awesome with Bobby Fish, Bobby Fish and Kyle O'Reilly, who are both awesome. And then Adam Cole, who I didn't like that much in ROH, but then I was a part of the fucking train when he showed up on NXT. So you got those guys coming out, which is really awesome. You got a new entrance, greats.
WWE ECW Matt Hardy coming out. That is ridiculous.
That's so sick.
That is awesome.
And he comes with the V1 hands.
Yes.
That he can interchange. Like, it's shit like that that's setting them up.
It's like, why? Like, what took them so long to have interchangeable hands?
Well, I will say
at least encourage.
I will say this till the end of time: the most consistent toy line to date so far has been the WWE Mattel Elite Series. Mm-hmm. Like, all their figures are in scale. Most of the likenesses are good, and they're getting better. They make versions of the wrestlers that you wanted at certain time periods with certain titles, with certain gear, with certain shirts. Like, their attention to detail and effort is like out of this world. For Christ's sake, I just bought an manga and a fucking Rick Rude today. Like, because they were on clearance. And that's amazing. I really love the Elite series, and they've done me nothing but good. And it's the only series of figure that I collect that I absolutely do not take out of the package. Just because, who knows? You know, I have a Vader. I fucking love it. Mm-hmm. There's tons of great ones. But they're really stepping it up. I'm really, really looking forward to the particular two I'm looking forward to are Aleister Black, which is I love him. I love his gimmick. I love his gear, and I like his style. And it's all translated really well into the Elite, like down to the tattoos and the vests. And then,
just imagine how many more elites we'd get if they just focused on elites and not the other fluff.
Right. Yeah, which is weird.
Yeah.
And then Drew McIntyre, the new Drew, which is amazing. So I'm really looking forward to these figures. Lots of good stuff. Even the Ruby Riott looks great. I didn't want a Ruby Riott, and then I saw, Ruby Riott's one of the stronger workers on.
She is like one of the best women in there.
Yeah, on the roster for sure.
Ember Moon.
Her and Ember for sure
work their asses off better than a lot of the guys.
So I'm probably gonna fuck with that, and then so I get Ruby, and then it goes on and on. So really, there's some good shit coming out that I look forward to.
When it comes to wrestling figures for me, like you, I get like ones that really, I think the likenesses are really cool, but just ones that really mean something to me, more like a nostalgia kick.
But elites are like one of the few, just like with the X-Men in the 90s, right? Mm-hmm. It's like, I really liked the 90s Gambit as opposed to the 2000s Gambit. Mm-hmm. But with elites, it's like, I really like the SummerSlam 98 Undertaker. You know what I mean? Like, that one meant something to you because it's a specific show on a specific day on a specific year.
Yeah.
And that figure has been made. You know what I mean? Like, it takes your nostalgia and lust for a certain moment and it captures it. You have a toy that happened one day. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, 90s Gambit happened for 10 years. You know what I mean? But that Steve Austin happened on the Raw after Armageddon in 2002. You know what I mean? Like, I just love the meticulousness. And that's what makes, even if you only get one or two, they meant so much to you at a specific time. Mm-hmm. Elites rule that world. So, DC, I wouldn't say placed exactly. This isn't my number 3, but I think it's, since we already covered Marvel, I'd like to cover the the DC Universe figures. I don't know if what they're being rebranded or if that's what they're called now.
I think they're just DC Universe. At least that's what they were titled at.
Okay. But, so these are the retail Marvel Legends answers for the DC figures. Mm-hmm. And they look really good. Like, they're getting so much better. Yeah. With the Clayface series, the Wave, the good chunk of those figures weren't amazing, but there were some that were really good. I think the Supergirl Martian Manhunter was really good. I really like the Batwoman, stuff like that. Two-Face looked derpy. But either way, you built a Clayface that was really good. Yeah. It was almost like animated series level, but in a modern take. It was really cool.
Yeah. So these figures coming out, because I finally got to see the Superman in person. The Superman looks pretty good.
Looks pretty good.
It's almost like they're progressively getting better at at least the body shapes for and with the articulation. And the proportions. I'm just not a huge fan of some of the articulations for some of their stuff.
Yeah, I agree.
It just doesn't really work, and it's like I feel I just want DC figures in
Marvel Legend
style.
It's not hard.
It's right? I guess I have to do it myself. But
I think they're finally getting there.
Yeah. Unless it's a patent thing, maybe.
Maybe. Or, whatever the manufacturer.
Yeah.
So Hawk Girl is my top because it's like the most recent rendition, and her new design I think is amazing. Katana looks really good. Beast Boy looks the best, I'd say, sculpt-wise in the face. Like, they nailed his ass. I was pretty impressed. Lobo looks really good in that series. It's straight hair Lobo, too. It's not like long dread Lobo. Batman Beyond looks pretty cool. You can't fuck up a Terry McGinnis. Like, really. As long as the body's strong and he's proportioned, like, you can't fucking lose with a Batman Beyond. And it's cool that he comes with two heads.
Yeah.
Because, like I said, a lot of retail figures weren't doing that before up until now. And then even the Kingdom Come Superman, the fact that they threw that in the line, I thought was a really fucking cool move for them. So, I mean, they're stretching it. They got some really cool stuff going on. So, you know, more Build-A-Figures. I didn't catch this ones, but all in all, I think they're making the right moves.
Yeah. One that really stood out to me, and it's a silly one, but it's NECA Ace Ventura.
Yeah, he's next on the squad. So NECA is probably number 2 when it comes to my consistency poll, because NECA's never released a figure that wasn't incredibly detailed, scaled correctly, tons of accessories, and painted well.
Yeah.
All of their figures are. And none of them retail for over $30 unless it's huge.
Yeah.
So they've been doing like Christmas Vacation, A Christmas Story, Home Alone, Golden Girls are coming out.
There's like amazing action figures just to have on your shelf. It's like, yeah, I have Golden Girls action figures on my shelf.
Fuck you. That's
like
sick.
That is a sentence you never fucking really hear.
That you would expect to even come out in what year is it? 2018?
Yeah.
Get the fuck
People
out of here.
are still idolizing that show.
Yeah, it's fucking great. So
I'm just waiting for the Friends action figures. So I get my Chandler.
Usually NECA likes to push the envelope. I don't think any envelopes are pushed there.
I wouldn't put it past them, I guess.
At the same time, I guess the more I think about it, the more you're right.
Yeah, they can do Golden Girl. I can see them doing Friends.
Ace Ventura is one of the better ones I've seen because he comes with the loose shirt. And
it comes with real clothing. It's like Mezco.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's awesome. And the head sculpt, like the cartoony look to it is, probably my only gripe with it, but it's not that bad to me. It's really not. It's still really cool.
And you're not going to get an Ace Ventura figure ever.
Unless I make it my damn self.
But if I had to choose any company to make it, it would have been NECA.
Yeah.
So I was very, very pleasantly surprised to see that they were doing him. Yeah, and immediately when I saw it, I tagged you in it.
It's like, fuck yeah, and I already saw a lot of stuff was just kind of popping up on my feed and on Instagram, and I'm excited to actually get my hands on this. I don't think I own any NECA figures at all.
So
actually, because I know I wanted to get the package, the Good Guy doll package of Chucky. I wanted to get that thing. The package actually looks like just a small version of the Good Guy. And I want to get that for sure because I think Chucky's like my favorite horror villain. Yeah, for sure. And it definitely Ace Ventura is one I have to own, especially like this.
It's your boy.
Like it's right up my alley with actual clothing. I've always been obsessed with the idea of toys having actual clothing. Yeah. But it's like I love my 6-inch tall action figures too.
So now you can have your cake and eat it too.
Fuck yeah.
I think that figure is going to be amazing. Honestly, Ace Ventura is the kind of figure that I'm not going to see as a peg warmer. I bet you everybody's going to get it.
No, you see it, you buy it.
Yeah. So I think that'll be really cool. And then I'm going to go ahead and say that number 3 is my what I have to say, the most biased company that I mark for. I'm sure you all will guess it. Storm Collectibles. Yeah, fuck yourself, everyone. These are my guys. So, because, like I said, they're big in the fighting game properties, so of course I'm a huge mark for it. We got to see so they have a 2-pack, which will be Liu Kang and his Green Dragon form. That's going to be a fucking 2-pack. So, hold on to your butts, ladies and gentlemen, if you're into Mortal Kombat. My favorite Sub-Zero design was definitely Mortal Kombat 3 Sub-Zero, and they showed that. They debuted his sculpt, and I'm super stoked about that as well. Really stoked. Love that design. They showed Goro in person yet again, and now he's actually available for order. And I think he's like $90 or $95, so he's actually like, that's pretty cheap for a fucking 9-inch 4-armed giant figure that comes with accessories. So, good on you. They also showed the Cyber Ninjas. So, like, you're getting Sector and Cyrax, I think, are the two. But there's others as well. I think they're doing smokes as well. They also showed Katana. I thought it was pretty awesome. King of Fighters, they did a Kyo and Rugal. Rugal is the shit! But I have to say that their two most impressive there was the Lobo and the Darkseid from Injustice. They're huge.
Yeah.
They're absolutely massive, is what it looks like, because they're trying to do it in scale with the rest of the fighting games. So if you're talking scale, Darkseid and Lobo would be bigger than the regular guys. Lobo looks unbelievable, has a real chain, and their hair is like the soft rubber, so it doesn't hinder head articulation or anything. So it looks really awesome. Darkseid looks really awesome, really straight in stature, really tall. Fucking great sculpts. I was worried that when they said Injustice that there was going to be too detailed. They might fail that route, but they sure didn't. So, pleasantly surprised. And in the world of Street Fighter, we saw Violent Ken, Evil Ryu. Violent Ken's face is money. Fucking perfect. So if you like Ken, get this one. Evil Ryu looks awesome, calm, stoic. I got to see the accessories before I make a final judgment. They had the variant dress Chun-Li, where the bitch is on steroids, and I love it. I think it's sweet.
I'm really digging those legs.
Look at that. Crush a melon.
Jesus.
And they also showed the variant M. Bison with the white goatee and the eagle pad. And boy, oh boy, do I love it. It looks like a mix of Judge Dredd from the 90s and M. Bison. It is all my dreams. I'm definitely going to cop that personally. So we got a lot of really good Street Fighter stuff. And their SDCC exclusives were the Shin Akuma with the white hair and like the flamey Hado and the flamey hands. It's really awesome. And the variant color of Alex, which, yeah, I bought, so fuck you. It's not at my house yet, but I will definitely be doing a review of that sumbitch when I get it. So there's that. All in all, Storm Collectibles keeps impressing me. Figures have great articulation. I like them because they're not true 1/6. I don't know why they're not true 1/12. I don't know why their build is such, because they won't fit with any toy that's in a 1/12 scale that's in a major collectible. They only fit with themselves, no matter what they tell you. And yeah, it's just the figures are very high quality. They come with really good stands. The backdrops for their boards are like their stages are in the packaging, so you can pull them out and use them as dioramas. And they come with a ton of accessories. I don't know why the fuck you wouldn't get them. That's just and that's my 2 cents.
Yeah.
We had the SH Figure Arts. Bluefin decided to show us some stuff. I'd say the winner is probably Mr. Satan.
Oh, yeah.
Mr. Satan looks so fucking dope.
Oh, yeah.
His expressions, he comes with the cape. He comes with the cape, too. Ah, son of a bitch.
Yeah.
That's a must-have for anybody.
Yeah.
Until they repaint him 4 times and release him 4 times.
Yeah. Because
that's my biggest beef with SH Figure Arts at the end of the day, is that they just do mass amounts of repaints. Even Figma now has been doing massive repaints for figures that are, expensive now, so they just re-release it. They showed the Lady Boo, and they showed the bulked up second form or whatever form Super House Brawly, which I was very excited about, because now that I saw the trailer, I'm going to buy the figure. So glad that we got that out of the way. Nobody wants me to buy a figure that I don't like, right? So, suck a dick. Gonna get that. So, all in all, it's been a pretty sick showing. Mezco had a showing, but they were showing mostly figures that we had already seen. The Cyclops looks all right. I'd want to see it more in person. Like, I want to see it articulated and shit. But what I'm looking forward to the most is the Black Bolt with Lockjaw, which looks amazing. So, looking forward to shit like that. Hot Toys had a showing of the T'Chaka, which I covered. The Spider-Man from the video game, which I was actually kind of thrown a loop about. I was very surprised. Looks really awesome. And the concept art variant Captain America, which looks amazing. And also, it's more of like a jet black design with like little white accents. But I feel like if you replace the head with the bearded, long-haired Cap from the Infinity War, you would get a snake. The more I think about it.
Yeah.
Because that Hot Toy variant, like the concept art one, I'm just like, is that Snake? Like, if you added like little blue parts and a little bit of gray, that's fucking Snake, bro.
Yeah.
So I thought that was pretty cool. But all in all, that fucking wraps it up for my toy haven that was SDCC. Sorry for all the talking, folks, but let me tell you, it's the future is bright for toys next year. 2019 is going to be a big year for figures.
Yeah, I'm excited to get my hands on some of those elites. Definitely want to get Undisputed Era. I'm a big fan of those guys. They are legit when it comes to wrestling and NXT.
I agree.
Freaking Aleister Black too, like his figure just looks awesome. Just looks the way it should freaking look.
Yeah, exactly. And, which you can't say a lot of the time sometimes.
Yeah.
Ace Ventura for sure.
T'Chaka
for sure.
T'Chaka, some of those Marvel Legends are kind of screaming at me too.
Yep.
Even me collect certain characters. When it comes to Marvels, there are certain characters I will get and just kind of keep and stuff. Like Daredevil, I like Daredevil.
Yeah.
But like, I'm excited to see like these things in person. Like now, being on a big action figure toy hunt as we did today, kind of hopping all over the place. It is fun to just kind of hop from place to place, even if you don't find anything. But you definitely walked out with a lot of stuff.
Yeah, I walked out with some shit. I mean, $10 for some elites that would have been $50. Yeah, I was pretty excited about.
Yeah, for sure. So it's cool to kind of go toy hunting and see these things for ourselves versus having to just simply order them online. Even though that's what I kind of been doing with some of the Marvel Legends that I got, or all of them. So yeah, the toy stuff that we got out of this, which was a lot, is really exciting. Yeah,
it's really exciting, man. I mean, it's going to be a tough year for your wallet, but whatever. Tell your wife you need it.
Yeah, just keep making money and keep buying toys.
That's right.
The best advice you can get about anything in life.
Yeah, no, that sums up life in general.
Yeah, that's all my life is about.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. So is there anything else you want to tag on to the show?
I mean, I'm trying to figure out what my next illustration will be, but after SDCC, like just even quick sketches, I think I might just do a Broly, man, since everybody's starting to hop on that train. I think it would be a lot of fun.
Best route to go. I'm curious to see what your Broly would look like.
Yeah. Not elaborate art piece, but, probably a character drawing of it, much like the Cyclops that I did recently.
Yeah, for sure.
So, don't forget to follow me at Sean Slade on the Instagrams. You should be able to catch my stuff. That's SEANSLADE.
Yep. It's in the description. Check it out.
So you just go ahead and keep up with me. I'm doing collecting. We're doing some nerding. We take photos and videos during some of these
Craft Party
and Beefcake Craft Party BCCP.
And follow me at Craven Knyte or at Break Knyte Creative on the social medias. That's Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. And check out the YouTube channel, Break Knyte Creative, where I hope to post new videos every now and then.
New videos!
But check out what I got up there. I've definitely gotten some questions and some some people reaching out to me for some advice and hoping that I'll release some more videos. It's just a matter of working it in. I always say I'm going to work it in. Sometime I will, so you will see. So keep up with everything we're doing on the social medias. Thanks again for listening. This is fun. As toys is a huge passion of mine as the summer starts kicking up, because every summer is always a good time to stay in and customize instead of being out in the sun and getting those rays.
That's right.
Yeah, as I'm doing my wrestling, Sean is doing his artwork. As I'm making my gear and Sean is making his toys, we are going to be having fun on our end. So peace, love, and chicken grease. Stay creative. We out.
Gig.
Oh shit, I'm on the wrong thing.